Good evening, everybody. My name is Mashao Seabela, and a lot of you have probably seen this badge and you run for your life. Well, I'm a marketer, and you are lucky tonight. I'm not trying to sell you anything, but I am trying to convince you of something. So do ask me how during the break. I come from Polokwane, where there's not a lot of resources, there's not a lot of access to education, and that is 6-year-old me who entered a classroom and there was a teacher who believed in my talent, or what I believe is more a skill that has been developed over the years. And I've even made it to the New York headquarters, or rather the UN headquarters in New York, because of public speaking and the art, I believe, of convincing people. A lot of you might think, well, this is something that she probably needs because she's a talk show host. Somebody here, Richard Rather, spoke about Oprah having lots of money and having something for you and for you and for you upstairs, probably there. But even he was a debater during his school career. And he says in one of the interviews that he did not just use debating and public speaking to convince a girl to go out with him, but rather in his actual acting career as he grew into what he became the superstar that he is today. So, in the recent days where we are learning about gamification, now I consult for a lot of startups in the education sector, and a big buzzword has been gamification, and I really believe it's one way that we can make education fashionable, make education engaging, because it is one way, through debating, that you make it become you actually have critical thinkers and people who are able to research and analyze ideas. This lady is one of my favorite poster ladies for the Department of Education because she is the poster lady. I do not know any other Minister of Education in South Africa since my childhood, and I'm not convincing you to vote for the ANC tomorrow or any other party thereof tomorrow, but it's to just say, what exactly is the status quo of our education system? Is it access to education that's preventing the success of our students? Is it because the quality is terrible? What exactly is the issue? Because the kids are going through the schooling system, however, the issues of unemployment, poverty are still going on. Now, I present to you the power of debating, the power of analyzing ideas and critical thinking. I mean, I sit sometimes in STRET consultations and I think, were you a debater in high school? Because maybe you would not be asking such a question. I mean, that's just my opinion sometimes. But research has actually shown that 65% of the students who go through debating and public speaking have a 65% chance of graduating earlier in record time. And if that doesn't show to you, because of these research skills, these skills of hard work that are really entrenched in these young ones, including myself, throughout their early development and their early careers and early childhood development, that is how they become successful varsity goers. That is one of my favorite movies, The Great Debaters. If you haven't watched it, do watch it. It's amazing, I promise you. Now, you become addicted to winning. Bolt there is one of my favorite heroes because of the art of gamification and being addicted to winning debate after debate, or in his case, marathon after marathon, you become a victor in life. Anything that comes your way, you are able to conquer it. And I learned to conquer life on the podium as a 10-year-old when I won my first national debating championship trophy, and I thought, is this the very same boy from Polokwane who comes from a public school, access to education, or rather the quality of education not so great, and now that's what I do. I take your money because I sell you ideas for a living. That's why I say I argued for my bread, and now I actually argue with people for my life, because it's an art of arguing, but not just arguing, but convincing, that I learned and I actually learned to harness throughout my life. And that's where I sit today. I sit in boardroom consultations where I actually convince clients that some of the ideas that I have or campaigns that I want to run will actually work. Not because I sound smart, but because I have seen that people understand when you are able to network, able to engage with them, and that's what I've learned to do. I've worked with a lot of brands over my career. I have sold condoms, I have sold alcohol, I have sold anything pretty much under the sun. And I think it all boils down to the art of convincing. And that's why I believe debating should be a mandatory subject in our schooling system, because a lot of the kids who are going through high school, if only they had access to debate coaches who could actually train them, that's where they could get the toolbox that will help them and set them apart from the rest. Because the school system will probably not change in the near future. The access and the quality will also not probably change, because we have seen the education system has not really changed. That's where it comes in, that you actually are able to think on your feet. I remember one of the rounds that we were on, you get a debate motion 5 minutes before the round begins, and you just have to argue. Think of, this house believes that, you know, child pornography is, okay, I cannot think on the spot right now, but I promise you, debating will teach you that. So imagine how it can actually help you elevate your career, or how your young one can become a better engineer because of the strategic thinking that they're actually going to learn, or how they're going to become a better ballerina, even that, because of the art of discipline and the art of really arguing for your bread every single day. Because what happened is I actually was able to get a public speaking bursary to come to UCT, because my family would have probably not had enough funds to take me to varsity, and that's how I was able to afford university. And last slide, there are many ways and many paths to success. Education has proven it's probably not the only one. So I plead with you, let's make a case for debating. I'm Mashao Seabela. I argued for my bread, and I argue for my life.